High Vibe Nation is live. Welcome to the High Vibe Nation, where we have set out to raise the vibration of every human being on the planet. Your hosts on this journey are Sherry Gideons and Pamela Aubrey. So let's join them now in their current interview with a high-vibing individual.
Hello and welcome to the High Vibe Nation, the #1 positive media show focused on raising the vibe of the planet. A space for you to remember the power within you. It's a love revolution. I'm your host, Sherry Gideons, and this is my co-host, Pamela Aubrey and Kat Hill. And this is Wednesday's Love Revolution Talk and Tunes.
Welcome, everyone.
All right, thank you.
It's another fabulous Wednesday to rock and roll.
That's right.
Yeah, we could probably use a little, everyone could maybe use a little music to distract us from
That's right.
Absolutely.
We're ready.
Can't have too much of a good thing.
Waiting is the hardest part. I should have learned that song for tonight.
Oh my gosh, yes. I like that song.
Sherry, are you on cloud? Are you on cloud 9, Sherry?
I'm on cloud 9. I figured I needed something to vibe high tonight, and so I put my background as cloud 9.
Either cloud 9 or cotton candy machine that went crazy.
That was my initial thought. I was like, that's kind of making me hungry.
Uh-huh. Oh my God. You know what? The blueberry cotton candy sounds good to me right now.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Does anybody want to go to a carnival?
Ah, that's
Okay.
fun.
I think we're watching one though right now.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
So how's everybody doing?
good.
Good.
Yeah.
Just taking a deep breath. Can we all take a second and just take a deep breath?
Oh.
Everything's good.
That's right. I think we're all like, let's play some tunes. Let's get the music going, you know?
All right.
Sounds good.
Well, I like to start with this one because it's a good song to start with. Because maybe we could all use some prayers right now.
Yeah.
That's right.
I want to touch a life, open up a closed mind, use my time to change a heart, mend a broken wing, help a low sinner think and show the weak just how strong they are. It's the prayer of a song. Born in the middle of the night, it can call the angels down, turn this world around. It's the prayer of a song. I want to tear down walls, make that runaway call, help a father to forgive. I want to start the dance, sing about a second chance, be the soundtrack for the happiness. That's the prayer of a song. Born in the middle of the night, it can call the angels down, turn this world around. It's the prayer of a song. Bless my words and music, give us a voice to use it. It's the prayer of a song. Born in the middle of the night, it can call the angels down, turn this world around. It's the prayer of a song. You hang on every word, you're the lucky one who's heard. prayer of a song.
That was beautiful.
Perfect. I think we all feel like we could use a prayer right now.
Yeah.
I guess I could have learned that song too. Living on a prayer.
A little change of pace, but I mean, it works, right?
Name that tune. Who's it by? Anybody know?
Bon Jovi, of course.
Here we go.
That's such a beautiful song, you know. It just like, and not only that, it really centers you with that stillness and that peace within you. I was just sitting here listening. I was thinking, wow, this is so calming right now.
Thank you. It did the same thing for me. I was like, I actually kind of needed this right now. Rita needed it myself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I wanted to share something today. And, you know, I always talk about living in the moment, and you know, it's really an individualized relationship that you build with this magnificent power that, you know, is so calming. And today I woke up and I just was asking, what now? And literally, like anything else, you know that when you ask, the answer is supplied. And so I wanted to read this today because it really speaks so clearly to all of us. It is right, natural, and normal that we live full, happy, and prosperous lives. But we can do this without taking thought for ourselves, for our supply, or even our health, or even anything that we need. Because all of the good necessary to our welfare will be supplied to us in greater abundance than we can accept when we give up the effort and desire to get, achieve, or accomplish, and come more into the consciousness of desiring only to fulfill our destiny on earth. We are here as a part of a divine plan. We are consciousness fulfilling and expressing itself in an individual way. And if we will learn to keep our thought away from ourselves and away from the fear that we will be without or income or health or anything else, and let God fulfill its destiny through us as us, we will really find all things added unto us.
Couldn't agree more.
So give up. So it sounds like it's about trust as well, right? And well, how do you interpret that in terms of your own life? I mean, it sounds great, but I mean, like on sometimes like, especially in these times too, with all the uncertainty, you know, sometimes it's more challenging to remember those things when, like, you know, if you're looking at your life and you're like, I know I'm supposed to like know that ask and it is given. And, you know, because sometimes I find you might ask for like things and then, but the universe has its own timing, you know, and it's like, I might have wanted that thing to appear yesterday, but it might not appear till next week, you know?
Because it's you. You have to realize when we talk about an individual process, it has to do with what's going on inside of you. And so much of it is unconscious that's going on inside of all of us. So much of it is attachment to what was 5 years ago and 10 years ago and 20 years ago, or guilt, resentment, and these thoughts that are going on inside of us that are unconscious. And those are the areas that we block ourselves. Those are the areas where we say, how could we be doing this to ourselves? When in reality, that message has been being supplied to us throughout eternity. It's been saying to us, stop and surrender and allow. Because there's this force, this loving presence within all of us that supplies everything. And we have to trust it individually. And it's an individual game on the inside.
Right on. It sounds like too, like it's a practice, and that meditation helps us. Because when you say resistance, or I don't know if you did say that, but I interpreted it as
that's exactly what it is.
But also like that's self-sabotage, I think too, right? Like how we But so I just, hey, Lynn.
Yeah.
And
So I just,
Scott's here
Scott.
too.
Scott, hey. Any thoughts on that, Pam, or any?
Yeah, Pam.
Yeah, it's so funny because I picked up, about a week or so ago, I picked up a really small condensed version. It's kind of a summary of Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. And so I was reading through that again today. And one of the things, that he's talking about is how when we're in those moments, when we're just in the moment of now, we can really appreciate what is, and we can also realize that the things that we're thinking are creating our feelings, and our feelings are just that. They're just feelings. So we can sit and we can be with them and just allow them to be. We don't have to change them. We don't have to change the circumstances. We don't necessarily have to ask for it to be different. We can just sometimes allow it to be too. And I think that can be hard to do. When things don't look the way maybe we want them to, then, it's hard to just sit and say, well, this is what it is right now in this moment, and I'm just going to let it be. But when we do that, then we come into this place of being instead of always trying to do something or accomplish something or have something happen. And then we have a totally different type of experience. And, it is a practice. You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that we have to, revisit and go back to, because it's not something we can just do perfectly all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, because it doesn't change overnight, like those decisions we make, as much as we want them to be absolute, like I'm never eating cookies again. And then like the next night you're like, well, just maybe one cookie.
Yeah.
It's different examples, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And it's just, I think it comes down to a willingness inside yourself. We all come to those points inside of ourselves where we're just ready and we're willing to do, it's baby steps.
Baby steps. And you also have I'm drinking tea tonight. There's a brand of tea called Yogi Tea. And
I love it.
Yeah. And then, so mine was,
Yogi.
May this day bring you peace, tranquility, and harmony. So fits in with our theme.
Sure. There's a message right there. Remember, no accidents in the now.
No accidents in the now. Why is it so hard to why do we forget that so easily, or because when you say ask and it is given, do you think sometimes, I feel this way in my own life, I probably ask and then the message probably comes and I'm like, where's the answer? And it's probably right in front of my face. Sometimes,
I think sometimes we ask and we're looking for a particular answer. We're not really listening. We're just waiting for the answer that we want. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That can't be the answer because that's not what I thought it was going to be.
Well, I think it comes down a lot to we're looking for a specific way for it to happen.
Yeah.
And you have to realize the universe is infinite. And so if we would merely get out of the way and stop analyzing, rationalizing, and scrutinizing the how can show up. It's like my mentor used to always say, she's like, Sherry, she's like, quit getting in the way. She says there's infinite avenues, channels, and opportunities for good to express itself. And it's beyond what you can humanly rationalize. So if you would just simply get out of the way and allow, could be ways that you never in a million years would have even fathomed.
Really? Yeah. I mean, I agree with that when I look back at my life in retrospect, because when you look back and you're like, wow, I wanted this to occur, but this occurred and it was way better than what I conceived of. But I feel like for me personally, it's I feel like we're taught to take you have to figure it out. So then learning to embrace this way of I don't.
Exactly.
Different.
And that goes back to the conditioning, right? I mean, we've got a certain amount of programming. It's just the way it is, right? I mean, we can't really go back and undo our past. And so it's just learning, okay, well then what do we do with it? How do we most effectively deal with that, and then still put into practice some of these other things that support us along the way.
Exactly.
And there's a deeper thought, just because remember, it comes down to individual experience. And so I think that as we seek inside of ourselves, it's amazing the things that are revealed to us when we fully do surrender. And so what happened with me is my dad said at one point, he's all like, you've got to go take action. He says, you've got to go do something. But then the inside of me was saying no. The inside of me was saying wait and sit with this and allow. And so that's why we go back to this whole individual journey, because a lot of times we don't have to take action. See, there's a difference between inspired action and physical action. And so when we settle ourselves and we get centered and we just simply get still, that direction that we need to go will be revealed. But it comes down to trusting again to that part of yourself. And that's just a matter of growing. Like Pam said, it's getting out of the way of the conditioned beliefs. And it's just simply surrendering and allowing these new avenues to be revealed. And I've witnessed it in my own life. It's very deep. But at the same time, I look back now and I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you.
Awesome. So that's what surrender means to you, is coming back to that moment of in your meditation and just letting go, trying to hear
trying to hear anything, just being in the stillness.
Right. Well, I feel like these are important things to talk about, particularly in the times that we're in, that a lot of people are experiencing so much uncertainty, and myself included, in different ways. And so, I've just been wondering myself how to put these things into practice, and,
Yeah, I totally agree. And just to realize that, you're not going to arrive. Right. So it's going to get easier, we
don't arrive. I'm out of here. I'm going to order a pizza and watch some Netflix. I'm just kidding.
Right. I mean, there's nobody out there doing it perfectly, so.
I mean, I hear it's that if you're on this earth, you got stuff to work on.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. Time for a tune.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, this song is about listening to yourself and how you can, if you get still and listen, that your own heart will have some answers for you, because by virtue, you're here in this life, you have, people are, it's like you are that which you seek, right? You're part of, I know we've heard that saying over and over, but it's like you're part of life, right? So sorry. It's called Heart of Hearts. In your heart of hearts, there is a voice that speaks from truth, not from choice. It sees it all, not just in part. Lies within your heart of hearts. It's a secret place known to your soul. You can't hide, but you can go when it's all too much and you fall apart. There's a place called your heart of hearts. Just listen to your life, it's talking to you. There'll always be a light that's running through you, coming from a well that never runs dry. When you're at the point, down on your knees, you can find your weakness to be your strength. Where one ends, the other starts. Deep within your heart of hearts. that's talking to you. There'll always be a light that's running through you, coming from a well that never runs dry. So when you're at the point, down on your knees, you can find your weakness to be your strength. Where one ends, the other starts. Deep within your heart of hearts.
Wow.
So beautiful.
Thank
The
you.
night, you know what? I really feel, last night I was sitting on the couch and I flashed by the election, and I'm an empath, so I can feel everything, and I could just feel the energy and the vibes around the whole planet. And when we talk about living in the moment, we have to listen to that part of ourselves. And since I've developed that with myself and I'm getting better and better every day at it, that part of me said, go love, go love. So I got up, jumped off the couch that moment, and I went into one of my twins' bedroom and I just hugged her up in this big old bear hug. And I started, and I told her, I said, your mommy loves you so much. Do you know how special you are to your mommy? And then she's laughing and she's like, yeah. And then I went to the other twins' bedroom and I was like, your mommy just loves you. And I was loving her and hugging her. And then I went into my bedroom and I hopped on the bed and I told my husband, I was like, I thank you. I'm so grateful, for our life and all of that. But that love in that moment, doing as I was told, do you realize how good and how filling that was? It was wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, I think I love those words, deep inside your heart of hearts, because it actually made me think of this when you were saying that, Sherry, is that, on Tuesday nights, I usually do my time of prayer meditation with everyone. And it's, it's like, come as you want, come and go. It's, you just listen to a video if you want to. It's time of meditation all at the same time. And last night, I just felt really impressed to have that time in spite of everything else. And I have to say, I really felt peaceful. I didn't really feel, I don't think, a lot of maybe what a lot of people were feeling, because I took that time and it was like, I think that really people want to be in that energy. They want to experience that. They want to feel like, regardless of what happens, it's going to be okay. We still have the choice to choose love for ourselves and to put that out in the world and to keep encouraging and striving toward unity and, finding ways that we can work together and keep coming together and doing our part to make the world what we want it to be. We don't need certain people in office to make that happen. And in fact, the majority of the time, those people aren't going to help us one way or the other. If we really want to see it happen, we'll make it happen.
So powerful.
Well, and I feel like when you are just an example for others in how you live your life, it gives other people a role model in a way. And I'm not saying like it has to be, but like the people you look up to, or you're like, oh wow, like that's somebody I can model myself after in terms of like, I want to be like that, like, and so I feel like it's really important to be able to think for yourself in terms of like what your values are in terms of how you want to live your life, which is what I hear you saying, that love is one of your values. And so, and then you surround yourself with people who value those things too, and then it just becomes a whole love revolution. But what Sherry, what you were saying too, like to be loving, like to love on your family, like it's like what I was saying about songs. It's like it feels as good to sing them as you know what I mean? So I feel like as much as, you're saving your children bills and therapy by I'm kidding, by loving on them, because I feel like a lot of people's issues just stem from a lack of love in a simple way. But so it feels as good to love as it does to receive. It feels as good to give as it does to receive, right?
Well, and how often do we listen in the moment like that and get up? I could have chosen to waller in, what I was feeling. And that was merely just because I'm sensitive. But I just listened and got up and gave love. And in return, it was reciprocal. So it was just a reciprocal flow of giving and receiving. And when you're aware of that in the moment, you're just like, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful.
There's a lyric in this song that I sang that's like, where like turn your weakness into your strength, where one ends, the other one starts. Any comment on that? Because I feel like there's some truth in that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me of that verse, our strength is made perfect in our weakness. And it's because in our weakness, those are the times that we do ask. Those are the times when we get still and we get quiet. And that's why we're given the answers that really can serve us in ways that we wouldn't have necessarily been able to serve ourselves otherwise.
Right. Yeah, because like, sometimes when you're hurting, you gotta like, it makes you stronger to learn how to move forward or like overcome that particular obstacle.
Well, I could speak to that too, because I did a live earlier today where I was talking about mastering our shadow. And it speaks a lot to what Pam was saying earlier. It's these conditioned behaviors. It's these, people have told us how to think, and we've taken that on and we've owned it. And so there's this inner stuff going on, where we go out, like, we're on a live and we start to compare ourselves with other people, and we look at what other people have and what we don't have. And then we start feeling, whether it be shame or guilt or breaking ourselves down. And so that's our habit. And so when we talk about letting that shadow side come up, ways to do it is something like you do, painting. You pull, I mean, in any case, you could just pull a piece of paper out and you could just, if you're having negative thoughts, you could scribble on the paper. Whatever comes out of you in the moment is letting that come out through painting or drawing. And then another way to do that is what, Pam and I use quite a bit, which is called the mirror. And so you become the daily observer of what's showing up in your life. That's the mirror. It's a piece of you that you're either conscious or unconscious of. And the mirror is coming up to reveal the ego or the shadow side of you. And what do most of us do? We want to attach and we want to respond, and we don't want to look. We want to stuff it back down. But a way to deal with that is to begin to talk to ourselves with kindness. Thank you for showing me what you're showing me. I'm grateful for you showing me and the more that we do that, the less and less power that shadow side, that ego side has over us.
So what do you mean what's the practice that you use that's called the mirror? What
yeah. So anything that shows up let's just say today was all there is. Anything that shows up that does not feel good or does feel good is a mirror of you. It's a piece of you, and it's showing to you. And so if it's something you don't like, which is, whether it be anger, resentment, you're a manipulator, you're vindictive, and that part of you will show up through other people or events or circumstances. And when it shows up, most of us want to behave from our shadow side or our ego side, from the same energy that's mirroring to us. But the gift is in that it's being revealed. Because when it's revealed, we can look at it and we can take responsibility, or at least we can begin to talk to it with love. And that's what I do. I teach a process of talking to it with love. And then I teach people how to say the exact opposite. So what I really want is to be hanging out with three beautiful women in this moment, feeling good, vibing good, talking about love, talking about ways to really live in our highest good. That's what I really want. And see how I shifted that from it might have been a mirror in front of me of, sadness or anger or, whatever it is. And so I'm telling it, thank you. And then I'm reframing it. by addressing what I really want, who I really am.
Which changes your energy.
Which changes your energy.
Rather than staying in it. Gotcha.
Yeah. You want to read that, Pam?
Robert says, loving from a distance is the current mode. There is an actual distance from all relatives. My sister is perceiving me through a narrative that has no place in our family or country for that matter. This could be influenced by her employer. Yeah, and I mean, I do think there's a lot of outside influences, and it's challenging when, we don't know how to shift our own energy. And so, and it's tough when we're around people who, have an energy toward us that maybe is, negative. And so, going back to what Sherry was just saying, I think, one of the things that we can do also is just sort of look at whatever that is and say, what can I take away from this? What is something that I can learn from this? And how can I use this in a way to grow from it? And I actually like to do, I personally do, of course, tapping a lot. And so I like to release the energy around a lot of things pretty much immediately. But one of the other things I like to do is just kind of, and this is very similar to what Sherry is saying too, is just kind of like be there with whatever that is and just allow it to be too, to some degree. And it is kind of amazing how sometimes when we'll just sit with something for a few moments and just say, okay, this is what's coming up for me, and there's people have all different words for it. Some people call it chatter, or, maybe it's the monkey mind or whatever, just to like let it come up and look at it and then just say, okay, chatter, or okay, monkey mind, whatever. Okay. And, and just, and so what, and so what? Mm-hmm. And just allow it, just allow it to kind of be and go through that process. And a lot of times, the energy of something will clear just by us doing those things.
Yep.
It's good to know. Like, thank you for sharing those practices. Then you're not like resisting it or feeling like, oh, that shouldn't be a part of my situation.
Right.
Like, I'm a peaceful. What do you mean I got angry? Samuel asked about this song. If you're up for it, I'll play this tune. And I feel like some of that we were talking about conditioning and whatnot. And I feel like for many of us, we weren't get taught like the tools to really know how to process things in a healthy way. And like, I realized this lately too, like, how like somebody could have said something to you like 10 years ago and maybe like it's still there, like from family or whatever. But what I recognized is like, if we would have known like healthy ways of communication, and when you're talking about energy dissipating and whatnot, I feel like it stayed because you never dealt with it. Like you never, because I feel like for so many of us, we were just like, kept it all like compartmentalized.
That's what I was talking about is we hold it in, we stuff it down, and we don't realize that that's unconscious energy that's still vibrating in our system, in our vibrational field. And so whether we're conscious of it or not, it's kind of like, here's what you really want, but then you've got the contrast over here as well that's still in your vibrational field. So you're putting that out at an unconscious level. And then the more you're clear about what you really want, how you want to be in the world, how you want to feel in the world, the more you get clear about that and connect and align with that, the stronger that is that you're putting out into the world. And you'll be pulling more of that in. But you can't change what you're not aware of. And really, when it's showing up, what it's doing is it's growing the muscle of awareness.
When it's showing up, it's growing the muscle because, like, if you're learning to be aware of it. So what you're saying is that really it's a gift if you can say, thank you for showing me that you're there.
Exactly.
And then help, and then learn the tools to shift the energy. Well,
yeah.
And to realize that it's, the energy isn't just in your energy field. It can be in your body. I mean, if you've experienced any physical trauma, you can literally hold those memories in your muscles, in your organs. I mean, it's not just in your energy field, it's literally in your body. And so it's important for people to understand, this is why we go through a process of releasing energies, because, we don't want those things to ultimately become dis-ease. It's dis-ease in the body because these are energies that really aren't intended to be there, and we don't want them there.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing that really applies to that as well is when we understand that we are individualized gods and we have that much power. We are the masters. We are the captains of our ship. And so our body responds to what we're giving it. And so the whole cellular structure in our body is like the servants to the ship, the servants to the captain. And so like with dis-ease, if you're putting out where you're trying to save everybody, for example, this was my pattern in life, giving away all my energy, trying to save everybody else. And it always showed up as dis-ease, as very, 2 heart attacks and, lost my back. And all of that was because I was depleting my own inner cup. And I was not giving from the overflow. I was draining my cup to save everybody else before I saved myself. It's a process of learning about you and the willingness to do that.
I hear you. I feel like I'll play that. Samuel asked about this song I played.
Oh yeah.
About Wounded Child. I feel like that's kind of a good song to share. And what Robert said about communication. The more I spend time on this planet, the more I realize how important that is. Because I definitely grew up in a family of repressors. That's not a judgment, but it's just what it is. So this is a song that goes out to like the wounded part of yourself and that recognition. I didn't know I lost you some long time ago. The faded innocent memory of someone I used to know. I found an old photograph of you staring back at me, a distant reflection of who you used to be. Like a wounded child, you've been walking through this world. You look all grown up, but there's still a little girl who's longing for the love that you never did receive. My wounded child, tell me what you need. I know that you've been angry, I know that you've been sad. It's okay to cry now, no, you didn't deserve that. Don't blame your mama, it's all she ever knew. Your mama grew up a wounded child too. Wounded child, you've been wandering through this world. You look all grown up, but there's still a little girl who's longing for the love that she never did receive. My wounded child went missing on me. I know you're still afraid you can't sleep in the dark, but I can't live without you. Won't you bring me back my heart? My hand is reaching for you, you don't have to be alone. Can't you hear me calling you back home? Know that you can trust me now, believe me when I say I'm so sorry that anyone ever treated you that way. But don't blame your daddy, it's all he ever knew. Your daddy grew up a wounded child too. Wounded child, you've been walking through this world. You look all grown up, but there's still a little girl who's longing for the love that she never did receive. I wanna wrap my arms around you, give you what you need. Wounded child, as you're wandering through this world, you look all grown up, but you're still my little girl.
Thank you. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, I think a lot of the anger and a lot of the hatred and the negativity that we see in the world just comes from people that are wounded, you know, and they're sort of lashing out, trying to release that energy, you know, and it's like a self-soothing technique that they have learned. Obviously, it doesn't serve them and it doesn't serve anyone else, but that's where it comes from. Yeah. And so I think that's really such a fitting song.
Thank you. And just the whole thing of like the lack of love, because I think that's all like kids want, you know, and then you spend your life trying to get it in other ways that can be dysfunctional.
So that speaks to literally well, here I come with another story. So today, you know, I was really talking about, you know, why is my message about living in the now? Why have I been, you know, what's different about me? What's unique and special about me? Because we all ask those questions sometimes. And I literally opened up YouTube and I came across this song, and literally the words spoke to me directly. And I started saying, oh my God, thank you, thank you. But this is the words. The power of love is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. Let the water wash away your tears. Let the fire burn away your fears. Let the wind blow into your life such faith and trust. Let the earth hold you, take care of you, and nurture you. And I was like, whoa.
I wish I had like a wind machine for that part where I could blow my hair around. Come on, wind. Oh, that's awesome.
But it just made me realize why, you know, it's like I created exercise programs for a lot of years. And I tell people that on my journey in the health and wellness industry, I discovered that we don't have to work out hard to get results. And so as I began to research that, then I attracted people into my life that taught me new things to really, you know, scientifically prove that. And there came a point where I realized that we could literally exercise one exercise all out once an hour for 8 hours, but repay the debt by breathing deeply and get 3 times the results of a traditional workout plan than if we worked out a full hour. And so that applies really to living in the now. Why is it that we think it's so hard to live and be in the now? And when in reality, it's actually very simple. But we believe, it's what we believe. We believe life has to be hard. And so therefore we create hard for ourselves.
Well, and I think a lot of that goes back to that song, you know, for those who have been through a lot of trauma. And, you know, I mean, the majority of us have. Yeah. And let's be realistic. A lot of us have been through a lot of, you know, pretty heavy duty crap. And, you know, that's
the truth.
That'll be my next song. This next song is called
Heavy Duty Crap.
Heavy Duty Crap.
Stop playing, y'all. Heavy duty crap this way.
I love it. And it does, you know, I mean, that it's part of that conditioning that we then learn to expect those types of reactions from people in our lives. You know, we expect for people to be abusive or whatever the case may be. And that's why we keep repeating those cycles. And it isn't until we go, why do I keep doing these same things? And why do these same things keep happening? That then we start to see, okay, there are things I can do. I can change these circumstances, and I do have some control, and what's my part in it, you know? And then we start to figure out tools and things that we need to help us do that. So, but it's very difficult to go straight from the, you know, you haven't even come to the awareness that you have control over that situation to then being in a place of, I got this under control. It just doesn't work that way, right?
Yeah.
It's a process. And most people are, I mean, everyone is in process. It's just we're all at different stages of that process with different tools and different experiences, you know? And so I think that's really like the message of love and compassion ultimately anyway, is that we're all on this journey together. We're all in it together, right? I mean, yeah. and it's funny. I actually just, you know, of course, I pulled a couple cards tonight, and I thought this was cool, so I'll just share it. This seems like a good time to share it. So I like this one a lot. It's Archangel Raphael. I don't know if you can see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but it's the lovers. And, you know, the lovers really, to me, a lot of times what that represents is loving yourself.
Yeah.
Number one, you know, and that's ultimately doing this work. You know, it's ultimately figuring out, okay, you know, I guess I do have some control in this. I do have some say. What's my part? What can I do? How can I, you know, start to change my own course and do something a little bit different? But I also really like this one. And this isn't honestly a deck that I shouldn't say ever, but that I pull from very often when I'm doing lives. But for some reason, I just felt like tonight I was supposed to pull a card from this deck. And I'm not surprised now because this is what came up. Pure and unconditional love.
Yes.
And yeah, and it just says, speak to the earth and it will instruct you. Let the fish in the sea speak to you. And, you know, I think this is a time more than ever just for us to sit in a place of realizing that there is love all around us, even if we can't see it. You know, even if there are all these things that are happening that don't make sense. And, you know, it challenges our beliefs a lot. And just to know that there's something to, you know, being able to understand that the creation around us is speaking love to us all the time. And we can speak that love back. We can be a part of that conversation with it, even if that's the only way that we can see love around us. And so I thought that was really powerful.
Yeah.
How do you speak love back?
Say that again.
Well, it's just like, how do you continue that conversation personally? Like you said, speak love back.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
I think you can do it a lot of ways, but let's use, you know, speaking to the earth, for instance. I mean, I do this all the time. I'll just be like, go outside and say, hello, beautiful trees. Mm-hmm. Thank you for all you do for us, you know? I mean, and I have to admit, I've always been kind of amazed by trees. I just have a thing for trees. So I guess I'm an official tree hugger. But I mean, what's that?
I'm a tree hugger too, so we'll have to put that on the t-shirt.
Yeah, right.
It's so funny that you say that, because when I was homeless on the streets in the 90s, that's, you know, I was in the Sequoia National Forest, and that's what I learned. I learned literally about hugging trees and loving trees and how they actually fill us back up with energy. I mean, it was just beautiful.
Right on. Yeah. And you can do that with any nature, you know. Mm-hmm. Talk to the birds, talk to the butterflies, you know, sit in the grass and tell it you love it.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, I feel like sometimes, you know, that nature talks to us and we're just not always listening. Like, you know, you sit there and all of a sudden a bird flies over and you're like, hey, you almost landed on my head. What's happening? You know?
Like one time when you were talking to me on the phone and remember that bird came right in and you're like, you're not gonna believe what just happened. You're like, this bird like literally came right in front of me.
Yeah. So, you know, I think
life and Samuel says, without trees, we don't have guitars.
Yes.
Oh, that is such a valid point. Thank you for bringing that up. And also thank you for the mentioning Wounded Child for that request.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, good point on, you know, without trees, we wouldn't have guitars. That makes me think of this song. Speaking of listening to the universe and whatnot, a lot of my songwriter friends feel like if you learn to listen, that songs come out of guitars, you know, like that, you know, because one of my friends calls guitars like we're stewards of the instruments. Like some of the ones I have been around since, like I have a 1967 guitar, and so that thing's been around longer than me, and it will outlive me if I, you know, ideally take good care of it. So it's this idea that this, you know, and I do think that guitars build up a certain amount of mojo. You know? So my friend talks about that, and this is one of those songs that's about you know, listening to your guitar. It's called Old Guitar. Tell me your secrets, old guitar. How did you get those cracks and scars? Give me a glimpse of who you are. Tell me your secrets, old guitar. Sing me some stories, old guitar. Fretboard songs and smoky bars. How close till you get to the stars? Tell me your secrets, old guitar. Oh, you're way more than strings of wood. Wood on earth makes you sound so good. Is it the hands that carved and made you? Is it the fingers that caressed and played you? That put the heart in you, old guitar? Old guitar, I hope it shows. I'm grateful that you let me know I'm the one you wanted to take you home. Old guitar, I hope it shows. And you know, you're way more than strings of wood. Wood on earth makes you sound so good. Is it the hands that carved and made you? Is it the fingers that caressed and played you? That put the heart in you, old guitar. Give me some new songs, old guitar. Let's take one more shot at the stars.
That one gave me chills.
Me too.
Awesome, thank you.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's so fitting after Samuel's comment too.
Yeah.
I was like, can't beat that segue. I gotta go. I gotta jump on.
That's right.
Well, I do, speaking of wanting to listen and whatnot, I really do feel like, inspiration is everywhere, and it's just a matter of how much we're paying attention. And the more we pay attention, the better we get at it, right? So.
Yeah, exactly. And also, what are we looking for? I mean, if we're looking for positive, we can find it. If we're looking for negative, we can find it. So just to ask ourselves, what do I really want to see? What do I really want to find?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you want to be? Because I feel like we've been conditioned, like in our survival brains or whatever, to like look for certain things, and it's like, no, I don't have to freak out right now.
Yeah. Well, I just opened up this book again in the moment, and it says, for too long, we have sought our health, peace, and prosperity outside of ourselves. Now let us go within and learn that there is never a failure or a disappointment in the whole realm of our consciousness. Nor will we ever find delays or betrayals when we find the calm of our own soul and the presence of an infinite principle governing, guarding, guiding, and protecting us in every moment, every step of our journey through life. And do not be surprised when truth unfolds to you that your consciousness is the all-power and the only power acting upon your affairs, controlling and maintaining your health, and revealing to you the intelligence and the direction necessary for your success in every walk of your life.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
And that's what living in the moment is about, is that the energy from your hands will guide you to open up a book and it be exactly what you need to read. You will be driving down the freeway and all of a sudden a billboard will stop and say to you, you do you. Or you'll be in a grocery store and a cereal box. Well, you'll only see the words on the cereal box that are guiding you in the next moment.
Life magically delicious.
Yeah. Life is magically delicious.
There's some marshmallows in there, right? There's some marshmallows in that live box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
You gotta
got
find
that
the
right,
sweet
right?
stuff.
I got that
Sometimes
right.
you gotta dig around a little, but
Cracker Jack box. Get the toy at the bottom.
I
that's
guess
right. It reminds me of. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I guess their marketing was pretty good if I remembered that.
Yeah. Well, and it reminds me of this quote. I occasionally listen to this minister, and this was several years ago. I actually wrote this down, but it's the enemies you fear today will be your testimony of triumph tomorrow. And I think, a lot of times our enemies are like those negative thoughts, it's those habits. And we fear that we're going to get stuck in them. We're never going to get out of them. We can't get rid of them, whatever the case may be. And as we continue to, use these little tools, do these different things that we know that we can do, that as time goes on, those become our triumphs. And it goes back to what you were saying earlier about, our strengths and our weaknesses. Our weaknesses can eventually become our strengths.
Yeah, absolutely. And Samuel, speaking to what I said earlier, even our thoughts unspoken go out and find the same frequency to return to us without speaking a word. Getting this is a key to growing the awareness muscle. That's exactly what I was saying. And it's such an individual process, because when we're ready in ourselves to grow that muscle at the level that we've heard throughout history. I mean, I know for myself, I'm ready, and I know Pam's ready. I mean, we have these conversations all the time, and they're just so juicy and delicious.
And nutritious.
And nutritious. Exactly.
Better for you than the marshmallows.
Right on.
Oh my God.
The marshmallows are made with like sugar cane, and there's no hydrogenated oil, or
Oh, okay. Well, in that case,
they're like vegan. Well, I'll play one tune here just to remind you that you have a gift to share, and you are a gift, and just that life is a gift, which I found on my tea told me so that's why.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Can't see it, but it says life.
Tell us what it says again.
Oh, it says my yogi tea said this life is a gift. So
Oh, I love it again.
The little messages during the day. I was like, well, if my yogi tea says so, then
Yep.
But I have played this song before, but just to remind you, if you listen to your heart, you'll know it might be hidden in the whispers of your soul. They say everybody has one. If you're alive, some people find it when they're younger. For others, it might take a little longer. It's the thing that makes you you, what you were born to do in this life. You've got a gift to give. It's the thing that makes you want to live. Gets you out of bed in the morning every day. You've gotta give it all you've got. Some call it your gift from God. So if you're 25 or 52, what's the thing that makes you find your gift? And it doesn't even matter what it is, as long as it brings you bliss. Could be baking pies, or could be saving lives, or it could be writing songs like this. So whatever it is you've been dreaming about, it's time you finally let it out. 'Cause you've got a gift to give. It's a thing that makes you want to live. gets you out of bed in the morning every day. You've gotta give it all you've got. Some call it your gift from God. So if you're 33 or 62, you know what you gotta do. If you're 81 or 17, anywhere that's in between, find your gift. And if you listen to your heart, you'll know.
Thank you for that. That was so beautiful.
You're welcome.
Perfect.
Just, because the gifts you have to share make the world a better place. And when you shine, it helps everyone else shine, So, right on.
Yeah.
Just so you know, the song that's been going through my head all week this week is "If You Could See You Through My."
Oh, awesome. Well, that makes me happy to know.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you who have been watching, thank you so much, every one of you, for being here, for supporting us and loving us. And we're just really grateful for all of you.
Yeah, I would second that. I'm echoing.
What were you going to say, Pam? Go ahead.
I hear her.
Pam, were you gonna? I know there's a little bit of a delay there, so sorry. What were you gonna say, Pam?
I don't even remember now because I'm hearing myself talking.
Cool. Well, yeah, I was just gonna say I'm just really great to share this evening with you all. So thank you for joining us, and it's made my evening. So thank you so much.
Yes, you bet.
Such a joy to be with all of you. And thank you for tolerating our technical difficulties.
I don't know. It's all of a sudden that happened. But you can find Cat Hill on the web at www.thecathill.com. Cat, why don't you say it? Because you don't seem to be echoing.
Yeah, on that part, it's actually thecatHillBand.com is where you can find my tunes if you want to check them out. And if you can just put your email in, it'll email you some downloads of some tunes, and there will be more tunes on the way. And also my paintings are at acrylicsoul.com or acrylicsoulbycat.com. Getting my own website wrong. But anyway, thank you for joining us this evening. And just it is such a joy and a blessing to get to be together and just, talk about some meaningful things and play some tunes. And just, so we'll see you next week.
Yeah. And tell the listeners how they can find us on the High Vibe Nation.
Thank you all for being here. Have a great rest of your night.
From everybody here at the High Vibe Nation, we want to say thank you for choosing to raise your vibration. And of course, please like, share, and subscribe. If you need to find us on the web, check us out at www.thehighvibenation.com. Looking forward to seeing you on the next episode, and keep high vibing.